Hello and welcome to another episode of my American Truck Simulator playthrough. Now, if you remember last time, we took a job and we went from, I believe it was Stockton down... Was it Stockton? Did we go down to Bakersfield? Or did we go from Bakersfield up to Stockton? I believe we went from Bakersfield up to Stockton, because my headquarters is in Bakersfield, and that's why it's saying I'm there now. So, if you remember, yeah, we went from Bakersfield up to Stockton. At the end of the last video, we leveled up to level 1, and I chose a skill point, and then I said that we're going to be waiting until I'm about level 5 or so, till I actually buy my own truck. So we were going to go do a quick job, and I got looking here, and I didn't fancy either of these two jobs, the machine parts or the car parts. Mostly because they take us right down the same road we just went up. So in order to discover some more roads, I decided that we were going to take this Kenworth and take 18 tons of tires. Now honestly, I gotta say, the trucks that you get here, if they have sleeper cabs on them, I'm not a huge fan of them. Because generally if they have the sleeper cabs, they're upgraded to have the 18-speed gearbox. And I really don't like the 18-speed gearbox. I gotta be honest with you. You shift too much for the what you're taking. I mean, if you're taking a really heavy load, it might make sense. But for an 18-ton load, I mean, a 10-speed gearbox will take that no problem. Like a 370 brake engine, 10-speed gearbox, very baseline truck would take that. So I'm going to go and take this job. It's just a standard delivery, seeing as we just got our point in... What was it? Just check my skills. I think it was fragile cargo. Yeah, we got a fragile cargo skill, which will start unlocking more stuff. The tires aren't fragile cargo. If they were, you'd see a little icon over here, and when you moused over it, it would say fragile cargo, just like that says standard delivery. But it's just a standard delivery, so we'll probably just get the almost $3,000. We might get a little bit more since I'm level 1. You get some proficiencies for your level. But we'll see. I'm expecting just to get right in around $3,000 or so, as long as we don't have any issues on the drive there. And I have new mail. That's probably, I would say, the bank telling me I can get a loan. Just take a quick look here. This is actually a really nice trailer. It fits the truck extremely well. I said that about the last one too, where it was white, but this one fits it even better because it's nice black. Goes with the truck. So this should be able to pull away easily in 4th gear. That's something I'm going to change real quick, because I keep forgetting to do it. I want to change my steering sensitivity a little bit, and it's not there. There, turn that up. And again, since we're taking Kenworth, I'm going to leave the little road advisor up, just so I can see my speed, because we don't need to get caught speeding and get a fine, because those are ridiculous to say the least. I mean, if you get a speeding fine or any kind of fine, just normally it's a big hit, but when you only have $4,000, it's not great. You want to avoid getting fines when you're at this low of a level and you're just starting out, because it's a big hit to your bottom line. I mean, you take, say you get caught speeding, what is it? I think it's like, I can't remember if it's speeding or a collision. If it's seen by the cops, it's like $1,800. And I mean, you take that away from 4,500, and that's quite a chunk. And back there you saw why I have a I dislike this gearbox. I just despise it, because I mean, yeah, when you're driving straight like this, it's not bad because you are shifting quite a bit, but when you slow down, just the way the trucks slow down, how quickly they can slow down, it catches you out. And if you're not really thinking about it all too much, because I'm used to driving the 10 speed, so I'm not really thinking about shifting down so much in the 18 speed. But when you put on the brakes, like back there, I just started to try and set off an 8th, and that just wasn't going to happen. It just, I don't know, it's weird. It catches me out every once in a while. And there's another message. I'd assume that might be you get a message, an email early on in the game that says some company in your hometown is providing jobs for people with vehicles and stuff, which is basically saying, once you get your own truck, come work for us and we'll give you a little bonus or something like that. But usually I don't bother with that. I mean, you get your own truck, you basically just look at the market and see what's paying the best and you just take it. Now, one thing, I don't know if we'll see it on this trip or not, that is new to American Truck Sim, it wasn't in European Truck Simulator, is they have these way stations, which is basically a station on the side of the highway. You pull off, it's almost like you're pulling off in your gas station type thing, but they have these scales that you drive up on, you have to stop on. Now, this purpose they serve, I don't know how they work in the actual game, but I know you pull up to them and you just press the activate button and it will give you a green light and you just go. Now, what they're actually supposed to do in real life is they are for weighing trucks. So trucks can only carry a certain amount of weight. They're only registered for a certain amount of weight, so you pull up and basically you sit on the scale and it weighs your truck, and if it's overweight, you will, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but you would probably, I would think, get a fine, and I think you have to stay there until another vehicle comes to unload some of the weight. And the way it works in the game, you just pull up to it, you stop, you press the activate button like you would in a toll booth in Euro Truck type thing. And you press the activate button and then you're good. You just, it switches light over to green and you just keep on driving. You get back onto the highway and continue your journey. Now, I've heard some people say that it's activated by police. Like, if you're getting close to one and a police car drives past you, he'll tell, that's what triggers it. I'm not totally convinced by that. Mostly because I don't know, it just doesn't seem right, because that's not something that actually happens. I mean, you can get pulled over by the Department of Transportation or whatever, but I don't think they tell you to go in. I know where I'm from, when you're driving down the highway, if a toll station is come up, they'll have these boards, and basically, if you're driving down the road or whatever, there's a little sensor in the pavement, and when a truck drives over it, it will trigger the board and tell the truck to go to the weigh station if it's open. Now, I don't think that's the way it works in American Truck, because you don't see any of those boards. It's just a pop-up comes up on your road advisor and says, yes, please pull into the weigh station for an inspection, it's called. So I'm not sure how it works. I think it's just once it checks to see where you are, and if you're near a weigh station, it rolls the dice essentially and it's basically, I think, a random chance, because I've been asked to pull in and I didn't see a cop car around. So the people that say that it's cops that are telling you to pull in, one, I don't know what evidence they have to support that, but I've been pulled in and there's been no cops around, so based on my experience I would say that probably it's just a random thing as you go past them. And another thing about that people have been complaining about or whatever is the cops. They can be quite aggressive, let's put it that way, with their finding, and not very lenient. The cops in Euro Truck were kind of lenient, but they're a lot stricter, I find. So you just have to be careful when going into like cities and stuff, watching your speed and watching the AI at all times, because you never know what they're going to do with the way they act. But also making sure you don't go through any red lights, because you get a base fine for all of those different things, and driving without your headlights on, and driving when you're too tired, and that kind of thing. You'll get a fine for it, but the kicker is, not only will you get a fine, if a cop is around and sees you, he'll flash his lights, which will signify that he saw you, and you will get the fine. How is it? I believe the fine doubles. So if you got a $900 fine, that would double to $1,800, which, as I said before, when you're just starting out in your company, that's quite a chunk out of your profits. But once you get an empire established, essentially, you're gonna have no problem if you get an $1,800 fine. I mean, it's still, you don't want to get a fine because it will affect your driver rating and all this, but I don't know, it's like I said, when you get your own company and you're making thousands and thousands of dollars, that's going to seem like nothing. And there's a fine, because I went to pull in as he went to stop, and I couldn't get stopped in time. Now that was a $900 fine. If there would have been a cop around, that would have been $1,800. Also, take a look at that truck there on the right. Something that also catches people out is that in Euro Truck, you couldn't turn right on a red light. Now, in America, in most places, unless they have a sign posted, you are allowed to turn right on a red light. But you have to signal, and if you are on a red light, you have to come to a complete stop. And I'm going to get caught speeding here if I'm not careful. But you are allowed to turn right on a red light if you signal, and you have to stop and make sure that nothing is coming. There has been, I don't know how SCS has programmed it, set you're allowed to turn right on a red light, but from what I see, as long as you're in the right-handmost lane and have your indicator on to turn right, it will let you turn right and won't give you the fine. But I have heard, I haven't really tested it out because I don't want to be cheating, but if you're at a red light and you're in the right-handmost lane, if you signal right and drive straight through the intersection, you don't get a fine. This is what I've heard, and I haven't tried it because I don't really fancy trying it and getting a fine. But if that is the case, then I really hope that SCS patches that. Because, I mean, there are better ways to make sure that somebody can turn right on a red light other than just saying, oh, if they have their indicator on, they're allowed to go. Because that it's just not realistic, and I feel like they could do better. But that's enough of that, because if we get into the whole what could they do better, there's a multitude of different things that many people would love to see in the game, but it's just hard to see or to say if it will ever make it in or what have you. But I did notice something. People complained about there only being 2 trucks at release and all this, especially since American Truck... I'm gonna crash into the wall. I have to turn my steering sensitivity up a little bit more after this, because it's still not as sensitive as I'd like it. People were complaining about the fact that SCS only released 2 trucks, and that American Truck was basically Euro Truck, but in America, and they should have been able to get more trucks out at release. Well, I mean, it is kind of disappointing that there's only 2 trucks, but if you look at it from SCS's standpoint, they didn't want to do what they did with Euro Truck. They didn't want to release a bunch of trucks and not have the licenses for them, but have the models basically completely named and just change the logo and the name. They didn't want to do that because that doesn't present a great image when you're going to these companies to get licenses. Because if you make a truck and you throw it in the game, then you go to this company and say, hey, I have a game, I want to put your truck in it. Is that cool? And then they'd be like, okay, well, we want to see your game or whatever. And then they see their trucks in it, and they're like, oh, well, it looks like you already made our truck. And then you're like, oh, no. That's something different. It doesn't have your name or logo on it. Yes, but it's our truck. So what SCS wanted to do is make sure they had the licenses for the trucks first before they went out and released them. So we got the Kenworth and the Peterbilt on release, and they have said they are working on more trucks. They have the trucks basically built, and they've been working back and forth on the licenses. They haven't released them yet because they don't want to release them in the game, and then the companies say, hey, you got our trucks in the game, we didn't authorize this type of thing. They want to take it more cautious route, essentially. So we have the Peterbilt 389 that they've already said they're working on getting the license for, and we have the Kenworth W900. Now, if you really want these 2 trucks, there are mods out there. I haven't used them, I can't attest to how good they are. I think that they're ported trucks over from ETS, because I know that those 2 trucks were in ETS. I'm not going to get them for the simple fact that I don't see the point in getting a mod for a truck and then in a couple days time or a few weeks time or whatever, we're going to get the trucks in the game anyways, made by SCS. Because SCS put out a blog post here not too long ago, you can go and check it out, and basically all it says is that they're getting really close within the next few days to releasing the Kenworth W900. So I mean, I don't see the point in going and grabbing a mod for a truck that's going to be released in a couple of days. I mean, if you really can't wait and you're a real fan of the truck or what have you, I mean, yeah, sure, go and grab the mod. I mean, why wouldn't you? But me personally, I don't see the point. Ooh, this is not a good reverse. I don't see the point in it, so I'm not going to be getting the mod. So, yeah, that's just how I'm thinking right now. SCS is going to give us the truck, so I don't see a point in getting it. I'm just going to back up here. This is going to seem a little weird, but I think I pulled in too close to that wall, so I'm just going to back up and try and reposition myself. Not a whole lot of room. This is a longer trailer too, it seems, but there's not a whole lot of room here to back up. I don't know if I'm actually going to get this right or not. Might be too close to that diesel tank there. I don't know. I'm going to try and straighten the truck out. I think I've messed this up, but I have gotten it sort of in so I can pull out this way a little bit, straighten it up. See, the problem there was that the truck was in an awkward point to try and straighten off, so I just had to straighten out to get the trailer straight, and gotta pull ahead again. I am not great at these reverses. I'll just tell you that first off. Like, sometimes I can nail these just bang on, other times it takes me 3-4 tries or whatever before I actually get it in. Hopefully, I'm just gonna pull ahead a little bit. So we basically got it lined up now. So yeah, for the next little while, according to SCS, you should see the W900. They haven't really said anything about the 389 yet. There we go, $2,900, but hopefully we'll see both of the trucks in soon and get a bit of variety in our vehicles, because only having 2 trucks, it is sort of disappointing, but at the same time, I'm totally fine with it, because at the lower levels, unless you put hours upon hours into this game, or cheat, you're not going to rack up enough money really to be able to get a whole bunch of different trucks. So I mean, 2 trucks is completely fine. It gives you choice between the 2. They're relatively the same, but I mean, at least you have those 2 and they are actually proper licensed trucks. So next time we should hopefully level up to level 2. Yeah. We have $6,600. That would have been over $7,000 if it weren't for me hitting that one car. We didn't get any damage penalties from that though, which is good. We got a perfect delivery and all of the XP. And yeah, we should soon be leveling up, and that'll get us that much closer to being able to buy our own truck. And who knows, maybe by the time we reach level 6, the W900 will already be out. I would love that, because honestly, I love the look of the W900, and I would love to have that as a first truck, that or the 389, but I'm not going to hold my breath on the 389 because they haven't really said anything about when it's going to be released, but we will see as time goes on, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.